Well, let's jump in with an icebreaker. I'm going to put a choice to you. If you could only have 150,000 Instagram followers, but no interest at all from record labels or sponsors, or have zero Instagram followers and a zillion sponsorship and a major record label deal, which would you take?
If you come into this with no followers, but you've got some interest from real people in the industry already, then that's got its benefits. And of course, on the other flip side of that, having your fan base, having a following that you've cultivated yourself, um, on whatever platform it might be. Some people have it on Instagram, some people are exclusively TikTok or YouTube. One of them explodes more for them, and that's where they get some of their fan base, and then they put that into other places. For example, the band I've been a part of, High Fade, it was Instagram that blew up first. And we saw a kind of plateau point. Once we had these followers, we're like, okay, but we've not proven ourselves by going to these places, by playing live. We've not proven ourselves with maybe PR stuff and these kind of things that record labels would do for a band. So as much as a record label wants to see you have your own growth and be willing to put that effort in yourself and actually want to grow your band and have that care for it, because that's instantly what they can tap into as a record label. Um, I would say that there is that plateau point with the independent side of it. So if you want that, that's great, but it's going to be loads and loads of hard work, which is incredible when independent bands do that. And more power to those bands that do it. But it depends what you want to do. If you want 100% of something and that something's worth £100,000, but you're keeping all that £100,000, that's incredible. However, if you want to take it to that other level that you see some artists taking it to, where, maybe they've got disposable income for a yacht, then that's not going to happen unless it's, maybe your 2% is only worth is maybe you've only got 2% in this record label. However, that 2% might be worth however many million compared to your 100,000, 100% kind of thing if you're doing it independently. So it does depend what side of that kind of coin you're on. Doesn't have to just be for money, but the doors the record labels can open for you as an artist are going to be different to the ones you're doing independently, no matter how big you get to that. Because there's just like in any industry and business, there's always chains of command. And even in an industry like this, there's chain of command of where things go first and who gets to pick first. And if you want to be playing those stadium things, you're probably going to be needing a manager and you're going to be needing a record label. That's just the reality of it, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think a lot of people think, oh, record label, they're going to steal all my money and leave me with nothing. But it's not true. A lot of labels don't even really deal with licensing now. So if I was in that conundrum in my current position, I would totally take the what maybe initially seems like the money grab of the Avid is endorsement as well as the record label, because that plateau point is definitely a real thing.
I wonder what a group like Everything Yes or Adam Neely's group or yeah, because it doesn't seem like they're playing stadiums, but they're playing festivals. So I wonder, yeah, I wonder what it's like to get to that level where you can kind of play
I've
any.
heard, are these quite, I take it these are obviously big festivals.
Yeah, so there's kind of the Everything Yes Sungazer echelon, which maybe that's the apogee of how high you can reach independently. But I wonder if together with an income from being a YouTuber or teaching or other things, if the independence that gives you might be worth it. And also, how big a yacht are we talking? Like, like do you have yachts on your dream board?
Well, that's interesting because I guess I see bands like, well, Zach Grooves and Everything Yes, and people like that definitely maybe that's the thing. It's so hard because I'm speaking from my context of what I've seen as a plateau point, or maybe what I felt as a kind of a plateau point. Even in like such a small scale of last year playing shows to 300 people with a promoter, but less work behind us. Whereas now, without a promoter, still only selling 300, 400 tickets. So we're seeing that kind of help is needed. The yacht is definitely a joke we have. That we've had in the band for a while. It's like, do you want a yacht or not? So decide what you want to do with it, basically.
This is within high fade.
Yes, yeah. So our manager's always joking about a pink yacht, but we're kind of telling him, I don't know if you can get a pink yacht if you don't have a record label.
Yeah, I also wonder if it's a little bit of a false dichotomy, just because in real life, you're not going to have a label until you do. And there are really only two scenarios that precede having a label. One is you get plucked out of obscurity and no one's ever heard of you. And the other is you've built something on your own. And in the latter scenario, you're probably more likely to get label interest. And even if you don't, you have something else going on. So I think about like if Sting had never hired Vinnie Colaiuta, we'd probably just know him from Charisma and the Baked Potato. If Dave Matthews Band had never hired Carter Beauford, we'd just know him from his sort of slightly obscure fusion band, who maybe was the equivalent of Everything Yes for their day. But I wonder if both of them put themselves in a better position because of the work they did on their own.
Right, right. Well, I guess as in it's all kind of part of making sure you get to that point. Or yeah, totally. I guess that's it's making your own luck with that kind of thing. So yeah, the scenario of having zilch followers and that coming through is I guess that's where the yeah, making sure you're putting your own work into that and having something that the record label, if that is something you're doing, has something to actually feed off of. No, not feed off of, but something to build upon that they've already got established there. That's definitely a nice thing, and like you're saying, it's good to have that as a backup. But it's like I see maybe yeah, taking like the Everything Yes or Sungazer scene that's happening in America. I guess if you look at they're maybe not entirely the same sound, but someone like Joe Dart with that fast paced, at least they got sometimes they got that fast paced funk. It's like that's so I don't know exactly who Joe Dart's with in terms of labels or not whatnot, but I know he's not independent fully. So it's like seeing that that's maybe the next step for a band, so like Everything Yes, perhaps, is if they did have that kind of backing and that kind of label, then maybe they'd be doing similar shows to Joe Dart in the next couple of years, kind of thing. Because he's been playing massive festivals every year now. It's like consistently you'll see him doing crazy stuff. And likewise, he's probably doing similar things to Vinny Colaiuta and stuff like that. He's playing with other big artists too, and having big artists play with him, which is also perhaps maybe some of the artists are on that roster with the label as well. They're already attached, that contact's like right there maybe, which is also a big help. Whereas something like Everything, yes, there was some kind of talk possibly of High Fade and Everything, yes, trying to do kind of co-headline tour later this year. That's not really happening now, but I guess seeing it from the UK side of it, there's not really that scene's not here as much. So we have that scene happening more in America. So we see that more with bands like Goose, Cheese, um, uh, Sungazer, Pliny, these kind of guys. Everything, yes. Um, so yeah, it's interesting seeing like the different levels of that, and I think from the experience we've seen in the industry, it's now deciding which path you actually want to take, because neither of them is bad as well. Both of them are cool. It's like I think like a lot of people have such bad opinions of record labels and think that they're going to steal everything and think it's a almost like a cop out, or you've already sold out if you have a record label. It's like no, you're just using the world around you to help you fuel what you want to do. As long as no one's getting screwed over and you make sure you're not getting screwed over, then it's fine. And perfect. If you have a backup, then it's a win-win.
Yeah, what do you think makes it more easy in the US to write your own ticket than, for instance, in the UK? Because when I used to do this as a jazz musician, the small scale version of it was just around New York City. You know some people who have venues, they have space on stage, you hire some people, rehearse some tunes, publicize the gig, and hope people show up. Is it that that's more difficult per se in the UK, or just that there's more of a speed limit on it?
Maybe with the style of music that we've been doing, there's less of that going around. There's a couple bands like there's a London-based band called Strawberry Lace. They've got quite a cool fusion prog sort of side to them. and a couple of the bands in Leeds, like Flat Moon. They're really cool. They're all super underground, and not no one's really hearing them yet. But in a few years, they'll definitely be a thing. So the UK is, I think, coming around to that style of music more. But just now, it's very much indie. The Oasis thing that's happening, that's back. So that's a big thing. There's a lot
Do you
of
feel like that takes up oxygen?
the Oasis stuff.
Yeah, does it take attention away from up and comers?
Yeah, sure. The same day that we announced our album, we got this piece in a local newspaper, and it was supposed to be, I think, a little bit further or closer to the front page than it was, but it was the same day that Oasis announced their tour, so we got bumped back a little bit. So we definitely experienced some of that, and more attention's definitely been turned to that. Yeah, yeah, and it's just because I guess there's a lot of you've got that, and then you've got all the. I mean, I don't like to sound. I'm only 22, but I don't want to sound like a 40-year-old man saying, "Oh, the music is just no, it's not these days." Oh no, but there's a lot of guff that's just the same thing over and over again in the UK for sure. I think in America, it's like since we've been there a couple of times, and I realize why Americans don't leave America is because there's every kind of thing there. There's every, you know, well, not every kind of thing, but there's a lot to explore and there's a lot to see. So there's so many different regions in America and so much going on.
That all look the same. That all look exactly the same. There's a Walmart, there's a gas station, there's a Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm talking about.
I tell you what, there's more Love's gas stations in the east than there's the west, though.
True, true.
We would stop there a lot. That was the stomping grounds. But yeah,
So what's it like playing prog in Edinburgh? You feel like maybe it's not the most fertile soil for the type of music you're trying to do?
no, we have the jazz bar. That's quite epically named. So that's got, as you'd expect, some of the jazz going on. And there's another
As
venue.
long as you play Autumn Leaves, they'll let you play whatever else you
Well, to
want
be
during your
fair,
set, right?
no man, the open jam every time is just superstition. It's great. um, and surprisingly, Valerie as well, of course, obviously. But yeah, there's a couple venues that have those kind of people. And my for myself, I actually studied at Edinburgh Napier for a couple of years. I dropped out when the touring became too heavy. Um, but it was a good course to get me to Edinburgh. And on that course, there's loads of, for the people who are really into playing their instrument, most of them go down the prog jazz route, um, which is interesting to see. It's like most of the young people are quite into that just now. So I think that music will come about more. It's like you guys don't like this, but your kids are going to love it kind of thing. It's like, I feel like that's going to happen with maybe the prog and funk and stuff like that in the UK over the next 5 years, maybe, something like that.
And how do you define prog jazz? Is that like Tigran Hamasyan?
I feel like it's become such an umbrella. It maybe wasn't 30 years ago, but it's become such an umbrella term now, even like to the point of rock. What does rock mean? It's like with that kind of stuff, I actually don't know. I guess everyone's maybe my mind goes to as like an entry band, Cassiopeia.
I don't even know them.
No, no, they're Japanese 80s prog fusion stuff. They're great, and I keep seeing them pop up in memes of, oh my God, have you ever listened to Fusion? Cassiopeia. Um, no, I highly recommend that. That's I guess what I would put to fusion prog jazz, I guess.
Have you ever seen that meme of like two people with a Yorkshire accent arguing over jazz?
What, the you fear its boundaries?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yes,
like
yeah,
standing
yeah. You
outside
lack
of
its
that.
fear of boundaries. Don't say jazz, jazz. I think
It's
it's
so
from the Mighty
good.
Boosh. It's very good. What's his name? Noel Fielding. I've still not watched Mighty Boosh. I need to watch it because there's some good clips from it. But
So you're only 22. How are you so good so young? Like, what inspired you? What interested you? Yeah, what inspired you to put in the amount of work necessary to get to the level you got? Because obviously, you don't get to that level just kind of casually playing, right?
I guess so. I started when I was 12. My dad's a drummer, primarily punk, ska, that sort of thing. So he taught me the first few beats and how to maybe do a do, which was really, 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 really handy. and my brother played guitar. So he showed me. He's a few years older than me. He's 3 years older. So I suppose it was a combination of me seeing my brother playing something and thinking, hey, I want to do something. I want to prove that I can play an instrument right. So I picked up drums. They were already there. Um, so it just made sense. And then from there, I guess from the age of 12 until about 17, before moving away for uni and stuff, I practiced every day for at least an hour and a half. And that practice, I'm quite bad. That practice never really included, at least, it was literally just playing along to songs. My brother would show me songs and be like, "Oh, look at this," and it would maybe be the Chili Peppers. So I went and learned Mother's Milk and Blood Sugar and learned those albums back to front, and then got to One Hot Minute. And then when I got slightly bored of that, you and my brother found Limp Bizkit, which was great as a 14-year-old. That was so funny. So I then learned $3 Bill, Significant Other. I learned them back to front. Um, and then from Limp Bizkit, he kind of went a different direction, but I then found Slipknot and Joey Jordison, Mario Duplantier from Gojira. So from 15, that was a very, very big inspiration, which I think I've continued on to now at this age. That's still probably the primary inspiration. But it was just an hour and a half. I used to do, I think last time we chatted, actually, I talked about this, but the longest I'd not played the drums for at least an hour and a half in between those first 5 years of playing. I think the longest I'd gone without touching a kit was 2 days. You know, it was like I was every single day, no matter what. Parents hated it, neighbors were okay with it, but um, it was every single day. I would go into when I got into Slipknot and Joey Jordison, I'd go into the room and turn a heater on. I'd keep my hoodie on. I'd put a pair of jeans on. I'd get a big two pairs of socks and make myself totally sweat. I don't really know why I did that or what made me want to do that, but there was just, I don't know. I do think sometimes I am a bit of a weirdo, and I think I like putting myself in things like that. And there was something so tangible about the fact that I could see myself improving on something I was doing. It didn't even matter there was drums. It was just I finally had found something I was actually good at and felt as though I wanted to get better at. So I've never had to think about, oh, what am I going to practice today, or what's this going to be? It's all I actually want to do, and that's I think I figured that out at that age within the first year of playing. I was like, okay, I've seen the improvement. I remember my dad saying a couple months into me playing, he's like, keep on practicing the way you're going, son. You'll be shit hot in a year. I was like, okay, I'll hold you to it and see what happens. So then in 2005, no, 2018, I did the Young Drummer of the Year competition in the UK. And I did that in 2020 as well. I think 2018 and 19. So 2018, I think it was a guy called JJ Wallace that won. And he was a big inspiration because that day, he, backstage, he was the last one to play. And there's 10 of us. So we all go up and do our 10-minute rendition of what we're doing. And he slept the whole day. Didn't speak to anyone, just slept. 15-year-old JJ Wallace, absolute kick-ass drummer. Backstage, did not care the whole day. Goes on stage, absolutely rips it. Oh my god, yeah, drummer. Okay, let's do it. And then he wins. So I remember that day, I was 15, and I was never going to win that competition. The guy who won it and the other competitors is like, damn, I felt lucky to be in that room, especially self-taught, and these people have got tutors, and yeah, I felt very grateful. So that opportunity also, I think that gave me a bit more confidence to be like, okay, I'm doing something right. Let's keep on doing it. But yeah, I remember my brother asked me. He was like, "Oh, what is this obsession? Why do you want to? Why are you studying these things? Or why do you want to get better at this?" And it's like, I don't know. It's the thing I feel as though I connect with the most, and the thing that it doesn't always feel easy to learn, but it feels like, yeah, I want to learn and just keep on doing that. And I don't think you can ever truly say you can say you're happy with your level, but I don't think you can ever say you've mastered what you do. So that always keeps it going.
When you first started playing along, for instance, with Chili Peppers, did it immediately slide into place, or were there a couple weeks or months where it felt really difficult?
Sure. The first couple months, I remember the biggest hurdle was learning scar tissue because it has the do do ka, that second kick in between the right hand. It's got that. So that was a big hurdle, and there's a YouTube video that's still live from like 14 years ago that helped me figure it out, which is great. I love watching that video still. So scar tissue was a big one. Danny California, I played that a lot because it's just got the nice sort of like ghost note kick drum on every to get your swing. Um, yeah, the Chili's were such a nice foundational band to learn from, and Chad Smith was such a good foundation to learn from because he's just playing the grooves, he's just doing the thing. But on Mother's Milk and Blood Sugar, there's some really like if you actually sit and listen to what Chad's doing, there's some technical stuff going on. Um, that people maybe overlook so much now. He's made his thing. He made his mark. You know, he's just playing the grooves. Or he's just playing the grooves now. But back then, especially One Hot Minute, that's an underrated album for drumming. Holy shit, the stuff he's doing on there is great. So tasty, so fast paced, and yeah, such a nice touch on it. And the drum sound is great as well. Um, so yeah, the Chili's was a very very big one, definitely.
I also wonder if Joey Jordison and Mario are a good conduit to drop into. I think if somebody wants to have really good technique, it's hard to do better than prog or speed metal, just because to simply play the genre requires that you sort out so many technical things at the limit that you can fudge in practically every other genre. So like as a jazzer trying to play louder, which is one thing we discussed the last time we hopped on, I feel like there are all these obstacles that I just never overcame. Where if you're trying to play like Joey or like Eloy from a young age, you're just going to solve those problems right away. And your singles are effortlessly going to be good. Your volume's effortlessly going to be good. Was there anything technically that you felt like, either in spite of having the prog diet or because of it, that you still struggle with?
I like parts of my playing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Um, there was a guy we toured with earlier this year called Walker. Studied at Berkeley, so he's got those Berkeley chops going. And looking at that kind of stuff, my singles are pretty good. I've got some good double kick skill. I've got some good stamina with it. But something I was trying to teach myself last year, which Walker was doing great, is being able to play at those speeds with different stickings that aren't just singles or doubles and still having dynamic and still having a touch around the kit that I just couldn't really get. My dynamic is though there's dynamic there, but the lowest note is still quite high, you know. Like the ghost notes is all the yeah. So because the dynamic can be similar like that with my playing, that's something I've really been trying to pay attention to. How can I improve my touch so I'm able to stay at these speeds but with less effort, and because that's where I now see true technique as well, is if you can play at those speeds but barely try and have minimal movement going on, then that's wow. To me, that's next level. Someone like Dana Hawkins, he's not even trying. Oh my god, he's just good. He's just ripping. It's stupid. And I bet Eli could do a similar thing, but he's used to really hitting hard and being that tank. So maybe Eli would struggle with something like that. And likewise with myself, I know I struggle with that kind of thing. Whereas going full pelt for an hour and a half and doing all that, that's fine. But it's a different kind of stamina, definitely.
What does your practice look like these days? And more broadly, like over the scope of a year, how does it break down between touring, performance, and practice?
Honestly, annoyingly, it hasn't really. The last year, it really hasn't. My time for practice has been gone, which I actually have noticed sometimes the show suffers for that because instead of your practice is keeping you up here and the show's down here, I'm now slowly having to just maintain being able to play the show. Um, and there's definitely yeah, so it's quite hard with the amount of touring there's not been much practice. Um, but when I have had time to practice, it's definitely been focused on linear stuff, a lot of linear stuff. And again, trying to do more. than just a single and a double. Um, and then trying to add that kind of stuff to my vocabulary so I can, improvise. I think a big thing for me is I want to improve improvising, which playing a set show every night for the best part of basically the whole year doesn't allow for much exploration in that. Um, so yeah, I guess I want to practice more on my improvisation, but it's just finding the time for that just now is been hard.
Yeah, I'm curious about this. What types of opportunities are there on tour to practice? Like I'm just imagining like the hassle involved. So we were in Paris in March just for a trip, just because my wife wanted to see it. And the hassle involved in finding a place to practice, in taking time out of my day to take the subway over there, spend the first 15 minutes unfucking the kit, and then getting a few 40 precious minutes of shedding in, and then scrambling to meet my wife for lunch or something like that. I imagine I imagine it's a similar thing when you're on tour, but are there opportunities if somebody's motivated enough?
Definitely, definitely. You can. Something I was doing was once we'd set up backstage, I had just like a bad like backup pedal that I would attach, well not attach, but I'd put up to a couch, and I can have that plus the armrest as a little dummy drum kit for the next couple hours before we play. That kind of thing is great. As well as my my favorite one on tour is, especially in America, we would use Cruise America, the RV rental company. So that was a lot of fun, and I would just make sure that every night I would store my kit in a way that I could take just the kick drum, the snare, and the hi-hat. And when we parked up outside, we'd stay at Planet Fitness most of the nights. So when we'd pull up to Planet Fitness, we would stop for the night. I'd walk over maybe 50 feet the other direction, set up the kick, snare, and hats, and that would be some practice as well. So that was great. And that was definitely a way to do it. So literally any surroundings you have around you, or if you can somehow set up your kit in a car park and not piss anyone off nearby, that's peak. That's the best.
Yeah, that also seems to be every Forrest Rice drum video. Like he's either at Joshua Tree or on a cliff or in a parking lot. I'm like,
It's like Tom Scott.
no one
Today I'm
around
in
you.
Norway.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're motivated enough, you can 100% make it work. You totally can. Um, but yeah, sometimes there would be weeks where it would just be yeah too hectic, and it'd be 7 nights on the bounce and 2 shows on the Wednesday kind of thing. It's like, right, okay, I'm just gonna sit down and have a cup of tea. But no, if you want to do that, you can make it work for sure.
Well, apropos the beginning of this conversation, what are your medium and long term musical goals? Because you mentioned working on linear stuff, looking up to Dana Hawkins, but there's also this yacht on your dream board. So, yeah, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Quickly, when do you think this podcast will be out?
Week or two?
Okay, if it's after the 26th, then I'm allowed to say that I'm actually currently leaving High Fade. However, if it's coming out before the 26th, then cut that. um,
Understood.
so in terms of that, if this is after the 26th, then I'll talk about that a little bit. That's a decision I've come to last month, and the guys know we've trained up a new drummer. He's a great guy from Leeds. So we've got him covering the shows now, and he's doing a great job. However, I'm now going to be taking a step back from the touring, taking a step back from High Fade, to focus on other musical endeavors. So the kind of things you're saying, like the pink yacht, is definitely not on the scopes just now. But no, looking at short term and mid term just now, I'm looking to have the time back from touring and advertise, doing some live session stuff and doing some recording work for people. I've always loved the idea of Bernard Purdy being on 3,000 albums, and I think that kind of thing is so cool. And when we recorded our album last January, I realized how much of a studio rat I think I am. I really, really enjoy that environment. I enjoy practicing. I enjoy figuring things out and seeing clear improvements in my playing and being like, okay, now I can do that. Now I can write a song like this. Um, so that's definitely I guess the goal is recording session stuff and live session stuff, as well as just focusing on my solo project and trying to build that up the way I want to build that up and do that as best as I can and really focus on it. I made Parry Dimension up when I was 15, and I've never really taken the proper bat on it. So I think I really want to give it a try and do that. So I'm very much excited to just be in Edinburgh, to be working on these things and doing that more. So that's definitely that side of things. And in terms of playing, yes, it's the linear stuff is something that's kicking my ass right now. Um, but trying to get through that, I'm talking to quite a few people. There's a great drummer in Glasgow called Graham Costello. He plays with a guy called Corto Alto, jazz kind of fusiony stuff. So I'm gonna try and grab a couple calls with him. Check him out if you haven't. Um, and also, yeah, I'm trying to think other like playing things. The biggest thing for me is trying to record for people, and I guess my focus is shifting more to, oh, how can I make this drum sound how I want it for this record, or how can I make it sound good for this kind of thing. And another shout out, I met this guy called Richie Dittrich. Don't know how you pronounce his second name. Richie Dittrich.
That sounds super familiar.
He's an Irish drummer, um, but really good guy. And he's been, I'm going to talk to him more, but he's been talking to me about some recording stuff. And he's in that side of recording session stuff. And it's really cool to see someone doing that. So I guess that's kind of what I'm looking for. Um, and if this is out before the 26th, then you didn't hear that. But yeah, that's kind of the goal.
All right. Well, we won't sink you over here at 8020 Industries. We won't burn you.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm also curious about the Parry Dimension Instagram, because obviously some part of that is humor and parody too. I think you got a lot of people's attention with the disrespecting classic Beatles songs and so forth. Curious about the genesis of that, and like, yeah, just what part of Parry Dimension is that, and like what other things do you have envisioned for that, your solo creative vehicle?
So I was thinking about this earlier today because now that song's out, I'm like, right, okay, how do I want to separate the two? So people who just want stupid drum videos still just get stupid drum videos, and people who want maybe drum videos and music get that, and maybe people are just falling for the music. Um, so I think the first one I filmed was just a stupid Trey Cool, why didn't he do this on the Burnout drum solo? And then that got some views. So I was like, oh, okay, that was fun to film, and I enjoyed that as well as it did well. So let's see if I can do a couple more. And then the Beatles ones came, and the Sabrina Carpenter stuff. I just recorded a few more stupid things like that yesterday as well, um, which is great fun to do, and it gets people in, people who aren't even drummers, which is really important as well.
You kind of started a movement, right? You've got copycats now.
Well, there was a few people do it, and I'm like, that's amazing. It's amazing. It's so cool. There's a guy in Glasgow, actually, Robert Lang. Me and him ended up teaming up. He was like, I love what you're doing. Let's do a couple of these together. And we've done a couple Beatles things as well. It's great. I like the humor. I like people having humor with music. I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I'd probably be the first one to be like, nah, man, but this song's really deep. You can't do that. You can't. If it's a song I really, really, truly love. I'm a huge Beatles fan. I mean, look at me. Like I really, really, really love the Beatles. So I love the comments that come in not understanding it's a joke as well. It's just, you get everyone. You get the people who are like, yes, this joke is amazing, and then you get the, what the hell? Why are you doing this to the classic songs? And then you get, yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it's a good way to get people in. I realized that maybe I had to kind of stop doing just that because it's funny for maybe 5, and then you get a bit bored of it after. And it's like, okay, we get it. You could have done this, haha. Um, so I guess I tried to pivot to other sort of stuff, like, or just making sure the video just has some kind of caption. Like there was a video that did well that was, um, this drum break feels better in the sun, and instantly as soon as you're like, feels better in the sun, or this feels better in the sun, no matter what it is, people are going to be like, oh, does it feel better in the sun? Yes. So trying to pivot less to trying to pivot away from rage bait and more to, yeah, this is just some nice drumming. I hope you like it, kind of thing. um, but I still, yeah, the rage bait stuff is great fun, and yeah, it's fun seeing so many people just absolutely destroying songs. It's great.
Yeah, I think we also kind of have a natural cycle where the stuff that's really fresh is cool for a while and then it kind of becomes cringe, just like humor. And I feel like everyone who's like kids these days on the internet, they're ruining everything. That's maybe the silver lining is yeah, but it'll be cringe after a while and people move on to something else. We saw it on YouTube too with like for a while everything was prank videos, and for a while everything was like I put myself in this ridiculous scenario, which sucked because you actually had to put a lot of effort into those videos. And now people are like, okay, we kind of get it, like you stayed at the worst reviewed hotel in Madagascar, we like, so luckily no one needs to do that anymore. And it almost feels like, I don't know, on the YouTube end it feels like people are appreciating just sort of thoughtful main course type content again, and not everything needs to be bells and whistles and dessert. But
Yeah, yeah,
it feels like to really succeed at that, you kind of have to love it, right? Like the energy that your videos embodied weren't like, oh, okay, I have to be on the socials, so let me think of something. It was more just like creative whim, right?
yeah. And I guess maybe that's as soon as maybe something becomes a thing, and then it gets oversaturated just because that it was a thing. So yeah, it just becomes not cool after that, or not as funny, or yeah, even cringe. Which yeah, that's very interesting. I guess I guess I didn't think about it too much as well, but the they were a lot of fun to create. Like, I guess that's so important. People do really resonate if you're making content that you actually enjoy. It's like the old Rick Rubin thing is where he's like, yes, the audience is important, but as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, if you're not enjoying it, they're not going to enjoy it at all. Why should they enjoy it if you don't enjoy it? So I enjoy it. I like it. So hopefully you do too. And if you don't, then at least I gave you the best opportunity to like it. Even if it's something that's taking the piss out of something you really like, you know. If sometimes you can do it right. There's loads of people are like, oh, I love Ringo and I love this, but this is really funny, good one kind of thing. Or yeah, wow, I can't believe that you didn't think of that. That actually fits better for the 2 seconds, and then the rest of it's terrible. You know.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, just actually enjoying your content and not just posting for the sake of it. There's definitely times where I'm like, oh, I don't like this video, but I'm still going to post it because I need to post something. Like that's definitely a thing. But yeah, for the stuff I recorded yesterday, it was just a few clips, and having the time to sit down and do that was great fun. So yeah, yeah. Enjoy your content. If you don't enjoy your content, who the hell's gonna enjoy it?
Although to your other point, I shot something yesterday that was work, and where I'm already picturing like the shit I'm going to take in the comments. Like I already know what's wrong with it, but I still have to post it. Where I was trying to illustrate playing over ostinatos, and as soon as I wrapped, I'm like, oh no, I should have had a metronome clicking, just playing 1, 2, 3, 4 during this whole thing. Every single comment's going to be like, I can't follow this, but whatever, still going to post. The schedule must go on.
Exactly, exactly. I think it's good to sometimes have that, not carelessness with content, but sometimes they just, right, it's not exactly how I thought it was going to turn out, or yeah, I could have done that a bit better, but it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, some people will comment that, and then some people will see the comments. Maybe the funniest thing I see is when someone thinks something negatively about the video, then they see people commenting that negative thing, and instead of jumping on that bandwagon, they instead reverse and say, oh, look at these people just hating on it so much. Like, okay, yeah, I get it, but at least it's not that bad. So it's like this, people are always going to find a way to either like or not like it. It's just like, just go for it. It's fine.
I had a couple rapid fire ones for you to close us out. First question: what's your favorite non-technical drum music? Example, for me, it would be something like Radiohead.
Okay, okay.
Philip Selway.
Oof. Even though I maybe said a couple funny things earlier, honestly, probably Oasis. Yeah, there's yeah, yeah, absolutely love how ridiculous they are as brothers, and I love how much attitude their music has. It's great.
For me as well, Coldplay. I know that won't go down
Oh, really? Damn.
popularly,
Okay.
but yeah, I like some Coldplay.
Fair, fair. Oh, damn. Well, we should get into some guilty pleasures, though. What are some guilty pleasures?
Haven't heard them.
No, no, no. Like guilty pleasures, because I would say Coldplay can normally be a guilty pleasure.
Ah, lowercase g guilty pleasures. Got it.
Lowercase
I'm like,
g.
oh, the guilty pleasures. Were they a punk band?
Oh,
They do sound like a DC punk band from like
they totally
81.
do. They totally do.
Bro, are you into the guilty pleasures? Okay, next question. If you weren't doing drums, what would you do?
Oh my God. I actually don't know. I think I would have possibly gone into study some kind of biology degree. I definitely am also interested in biology. I've been interested in marine biology in particular, kind of helping out with like oil rigs. Should you dig there? Should you not dig there? Kind of thing. Um, so that maybe something like that. But genuinely, I really don't know. I really don't know. I think I'm incredibly lucky to have found something like that, and incredibly lucky to have been put into a position where I can pursue it professionally. Because yeah, there's not just drumming, just music in general. There's nothing else. I think there's nothing else my hands can do that well. When it comes to anything else, I'm pretty feckless. So I'm lucky I've got music.
So far. Well, I think that's a great note to end on. Hope people will check you out. Your Instagram's Perry Dimension. Is there anywhere else you'd send people to check out what you've got going on?
All the social medias, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Paradimension, and yes, Spotify now as well. New song is out today, Maze of Haze, so that's very exciting. Yes, so yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for coming by. I'm glad we made it happen.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, man.